E-L-O-H-A, a little aloha in our day. Spread a little aloha around the world. And breakfast with Bob.
Thank you, Poncho Man. Welcome, everybody. Breakfast with Bob, not quite Kona edition. My name is Bob Babbitt. We're brought to you by Hoka One One Master Spas, Class USA, UCAN, Hyper Ice, Premium Plus Sports, and Form Goggles, and of course, our Challenged Athletes Foundation. Our next guest coming off of a silver medal at the Ironman 70.3 World Championship. He has had a phenomenal season. Mr. Sam Long joins us from his palatial estate somewhere in Arizona, I think. How you doing, Sam the man?
My palatial estate. You always crack me up. And actually, no, I'm still in St. George because if you remember, there was so much going on, but my car got totaled on the way driving into St. George. So my car's in the shop for 2 weeks. So I'm still in St. George.
Well, some good training.
Yeah, it's great training, and I've got the best homestay in the world here. So it's all working out.
So if somebody looked back last month at Collins Cup and they saw Sam Appleton and Jan Frodeno jump in the water and basically work together and gain over 4 minutes in the swim on Mr. Sam Long, and that was a wetsuit swim, they would go, okay, we're coming to St. George. It's a lake swim, no wetsuits. How far is Sam going to be behind? And you were 2 minutes to the lead and just a minute to Gustav Iden. What the hell have you been doing in the month leading in? Because that was a great swim.
Yeah, absolutely. I know people did think that because I saw Sebastian Kienle did his podium predictions for it, and he didn't put me on the podium. And I even commented basically, well, actually I commented, hey, if I got on the podium with Roy Combo, and they sent me a message and said, hey, I didn't put you on the podium because your swim was so bad at Collins Cup, but wow, you proved me wrong. And so, yeah, you absolutely would have thought I would have been basically host in the World Championships. But we had a number of things go wrong at Collins Cup, which we talked about with your question at the press conference, if you remember.
Yeah, right. Because it was like one of those things. It was interesting because I was talking to Ryan Bolton, your coach, and he said, you know, Sam is aggressive when he races on the bike. He's aggressive when he races and run, but he doesn't have that confidence yet to be aggressive in the water. He's got the skill. It's there. His times are there, but he hasn't been aggressive in the water. Were you aggressive in the water at St. George? It seemed like you were.
Oh yeah, I was incredibly aggressive. And, you know, I even had, and I won't say any names, but I know exactly who you are. So don't think you're going to get away with this publicly, but I had an individual do, you know, that move where they grab your shoulder and pull you way back. And so that happened to me within the first 20 meters of the swim. And maybe it actually helped me because it just put me in that zone of like, this is war and don't mess with me. And I just went super ultra aggressive and fought for absolutely every single inch of body length in that first 200. And it paid off monumentally. And to be honest, I've never had an issue with sort of my threshold or my steady state swim pace. If you give us 30 times 100, I can swim. You know, I can't swim 30 times 100 with Jan, but I can swim 30 times 100 with most people because my steady state ability is good. So it's always been in the takeout and just finding that positional stuff.
You know, it's interesting. I think there's a total different mindset to open water and pool. You know, you find yourself, especially out here in the West Coast, we do a lot of ocean stuff. And it's a different type of swimmer. You have to be aggressive. You're dealing with waves and current and sun and glare and other swimmers pounding on you, which you don't have in a pool. You worked on your open water swimming with what, Tyler Butterfield and some of the other guys in Boulder?
Yeah, exactly. We got a group of 4 of us, and it's actually a pretty good story because all the open water swimming in Boulder is private. There's only private lakes, so you can't get it. But we befriended this baker who was at a local bakery who we knew lived at a lake with a private lake. And Tyler, you know, drinks a lot of coffees. And so he went there every day all summer and was drinking his coffee and tipping the guy. And then next thing we knew, we asked him if we could use his private lake. So then we all would pile into our van and go to this private lake and get our open water swimming in.
Like when you're a kid, finding the kid with the biggest backyard and becoming his best friend so you can play ball in his backyard. That's great. I love that.
Exactly.
And you felt it made a big difference, just doing more open water stuff?
Yeah, it made a huge difference. And it was especially having the other guys there, and particularly Tyler Butterfield and Andre Lopez. Tyler gave me a number of really, really critical technique tips with how to start and just things to do with my chest and my body position. And then Andre, being kind of the fastest sprinter out of all of us, we literally had him. And these starts were way harder than I did my swim. And they told me, like, you are not going to let Andre drop you. You are going to swim, on his hip, and you are going to make it there for 200. And we did that like 10 times every swim. And I thought I was going to have a heart attack every single one of these times. And it was the hardest training like ever. And then, to be honest, the race was actually significantly easier than that training I did.
Because you don't realize that most of the time those guys do go incredibly hard for the first 300-400, and then they back off. But you don't know that when you're already off the back. You don't know that they're going back hard and then they're slowing down a little bit. You never get to see that. Now you do.
Exactly. And here's what's funny. It's something I've thought about. If swimming was the last of the three events, I bet I would be one of the best swimmers in the sport, because I'd be fresh. You wouldn't have to sprint. You'd have to, like, it'd be funny. I would actually be one of the better swimmers in the sport, but it's because you have to go first and you have to have this very specific skill set of starting fast and being aggressive. And combine that with sort of my lack of confidence that a lot of people have helped, and because I've always gotten put down about my swimming, so I've had to overcome that as well. But and then I'm a diesel engine. We never see me. I've never won a sprint in a running race either. So I'm not a sprinter. I'm the guy that goes fast for long durations.
So when I look at your splits from the race, and I see 25:54, and I see 2 hours flat, 49 seconds, 1:12:11, and 3:41:09. If someone told you that before the race, you're going, I think I'm winning this puppy. I mean, those are great splits. And the fact that, that Gustav broke 2 hours for the bike ride and went 1:58:59, all you can do is tip your cap and go, I had a great race. This guy happened to have a better one.
Yeah, that's pretty much exactly that. And to his credit, he did exactly what I thought he wouldn't do, which makes him a great racer. And he biked to 1:58. I thought for sure he would just stay in that front group and wait. And it would have been much better for me if he had, and much more interesting, because then we would have been running together. And if you look, our run splits, he ran about 40 seconds faster than me. So it then would have been a real battle on the run. So, yeah, I just had to tip my hat and say, I mean, I know I can tell you for a fact, Ryan, everyone else is impressed with my run, but I can tell you for a fact, Ryan Bolton is not impressed with my run. And he wanted me to run a 1:09:30. So I look at those splits and actually, yeah, that's what we'll do next year. I'm pretty confident about it.
So it's funny, because obviously Ryan saw things in you that you didn't see in yourself. What has he brought to the table for you?
Yeah, I mean, he's brought a lot to my table. And first off, just another story. We were at the awards dinner, and someone was asking, oh, well, like, what do you and Sam have in common, and how do you guys get along as a coach? And Ryan looked at him and he said, I want to be the best coach in the world, and Sam wants to be the best athlete in the world. And that's where our commonalities start. And from there, nothing else really matters, and he saw early on in me, when a lot of people wrote me off as a crazy guy that was training way too much and doing way too much and was not going to make it to the sport till I was 25 because I was going to kill myself. He just saw a guy with a lot of talent and work ethic and durability. And I think he wanted to, carve a Goliath out of that statue. And so he got to work.
This was a world championship. So you got a silver medal at the world championship. Obviously, when you went to Nice 2 years ago, that was sort of what you were thinking that you would do. And you weren't there yet. So coming away with the silver medal, how important is that in terms of your self-confidence?
Yeah, to be honest, it's quite the experience, and it's pretty amazing to actually accomplish it. And it's less than what I thought it would be. I thought, I'd get second and get the podium on the world champs and really want to hoorah my fists and celebrate voraciously and have some huge party. But instead it's just kind of been this more quiet satisfaction and just sort of a really inward and an amazing accomplishment, and that all the hard work's paying off. And also, I guess less trying to say I did this for others or show off the silver medal or anything like that, and more just realizing how much I love the lifestyle of being a triathlete in the process of improving, and I want to celebrate by continuing that process. And that's what I've realized.
What's fascinating to me is here's Tyler Butterfield, who at the end of the day is a competitor, right? These guys are competitors, and they're saying, let us help you with your swimming. Because at the end of the day, on race day, you're racing against yourself and racing against the course. And there is a camaraderie among all of you guys. Is that what makes the sport so special? The fact that, you want to kick Lionel's ass, you want to kick whoever's ass is out there, but you all appreciate what it takes to get to the start line and get to the finish line.
Yeah, it's absolutely a special sport where we help each other a lot. And Lionel's helped me, Sebastian Kienle has helped me, Ben Hoffman's helped me, Tyler Butterfield helps me a monumental amount. But it's not everyone like that. I mean, we've got a pretty special training group with the three of us, with me, Tyler, and Andre, and where we all help each other, and there's really no secrets. And I try and help them as much as I can on the bike. And so we've really created this community where, all three of us try to make each of the individuals better than they could be on their own.
What was, when you've done St. George a ton of times, was this run course harder than the other ones that they've had in the past?
Yeah. This run course was undoubtedly harder by a significant quantity. And so I guess that's probably why I didn't run 109.30 as well, which would be a remarkable feat on this new run course. Yeah. It's just, the problem with it is now there's more elevation gain, and you were placed in the exact spot of the course that was harder. And the downhill, you lose all the vertical gains so fast that it's unhelpful. You can't even run it as fast as you would like. You would fall on your face, and it just causes so much pounding on the body. And so while instead the downhills used to be they were still somewhat steep, but less steep and more gradual, and they would actually roll into some of the uphills. So you would just carry your momentum over kind of like a roller coaster. And then that actually helped you get the next uphill done. While now it's, straight down, you go straight down for 2 miles at the end of each lap, and you have to make a U-turn at the bottom of that. So there's no carrying your momentum anywhere. It's a full stop. And so it's, I'll definitely be training differently for that exact element. I don't think any of us knew just how insane that downhill was. And then you have to go uphill after, and that's really hard. So I'll literally do something like, we've got lots of great climbs in Boulder. I'll run an 800 hill rep up basically at more or less max effort. Then I'll run it down at more or less max effort. And then I'll do that again, basically to teach myself to go back and forth, while instead I really just taught myself how to run the uphills and relied on my usual good downhill running. But you actually have to train the downhill running on this, and especially to run uphill afterwards.
The downhill wasn't just bad on its own. It was also wet. And everybody who came around that corner was using their arms or like wings, just trying to make sure they don't fall over.
Well, that's a great point. Not only was the downhill bad on its own, it was also wet, and it had this steep, 90-degree turn at the steepest part of the downhill. And so it wasn't just carry your speed and go. It was like you literally had to try and make this turn running at 4:30 pace per mile. I mean, it was just it was a monumental task to do that. And exactly, like my arms I was worried. That was actually the thing I was thinking about the whole last 5K was like, oh God, I hope I don't lose second place because I come down this turn and trip and slide, and then I'm out of the race. But I said, Gustav might do that, and I might end up winning this thing.
Exactly. Someone could have gone that. And so you're serious about going to Chattanooga this weekend?
Serious. Yep. Absolutely.
What the hell? You just finished a half and you're going to do a full this next weekend.
Yeah. I'm really, really excited about the challenge ahead, and it could fail catastrophically, which would be fine. I mean, I would just take it as a character building experience and lessons learned, or it could go, which is what I'm hoping, it could go really, really well. And from a training standpoint with Ryan, it's a fascinating experiment to figure out what we can do and if this type of training works, because I've been doing predominantly 70.3 training, but I'm a high volume guy. And so I do not have my normal Ironman training underneath my belt by any means. But I have a feeling it's going to go really well. I mean, and when I say I don't have Ironman training, I still did a 22-mile run 2 weeks before St. George. So, right. But normally for me, I would do like 25 or 24 miles. So it's still a little bit short, but it's still right in line with what 98% of the other pros would do for Ironman training. So when I say I haven't done Ironman training, most people would still say I have.
And now, was this your idea, Ryan's idea?
It's my idea.
And he was okay with it?
Yes. Overall, he okayed it. He wanted me to do Ironman California.
I was saying that you still can do that and go against Lionel this weekend and go against Jan in October.
Yes. And I thought about that, but my family, I told you this story, I think in Nice, but my family, everybody got 10 days off to go see Kona and to celebrate with me after Kona. And so they all still have the time off. And so they've said, no
Costa
way,
Rica.
you're taking that vacation. And now instead of Kona, it's Costa Rica. So my season has to be done, and I've honored that. And it's actually a good thing. I need to take a break anyways. So I've got, 10 days in Costa Rica coming up. So I will almost certainly not be fit. I will be drinking Mai Tais and margaritas and surfing. That would be my preparation for Ironman California. So I said, Ryan, I know you think it works better on paper, but I promise you the preparation will not be better for Ironman California.
So I think you're the only pro. Your dad went 5:13:25 and took third in 60 to 64. Any other pros have their parents race?
Nope. No other pros had their parents
race. You guys
race.
won the double.
We won the double.
Son double.
Yep.
Boom.
And we are inviting anyone in the world to come and challenge us in that. So bring it on.
Next year, we'll put that out there for every pro. Bring your dad to work day, right?
Bring your dad to work day. Exactly. I mean, really, it was exceptional what he did, and it's been really fun. I wouldn't say I've really coached him, but I've coached him as much as he's ever been coached in his life. And he's just a wild, free spirit. And he just tackled this thing with the bulls, with the horns head on, and really had absolutely no idea what he was getting himself into. His longest run was 9 miles building up to it. I finally got him swimming. He'd go swimming at like 8 p.m. at night. It was just your typical age grouper trying to fit it in when things could work. And my mom telling him, nope, you can't train. It's your night to cook dinner, so he had to fit it in with everything else. And he had to go out there and he had to just rely on the spirit of being an Ironman and being tough. And obviously he trained when he could. And and I guess he kept getting mistaken for me because he wore my pink kit that says big unit on it. And apparently a number of people said like, wow, you are having a really bad day, because they thought he was me. And they're like, wow, you're way back here. And instead he's actually getting third in his age group.
He's getting slammed. You suck. What's wrong with you? What's going on? Yeah. I think it's so cool that the dad was out there racing. Your parents were great. It was really fun to chat with both of them. And they obviously are so excited about the triplets and all of you doing different stuff. One's in the music, one's into finance. You're a triathlete, and all you guys are really, really unique, but very special at the same time. That was a fun time. I spent a lot of time with mom and dad in the VIP area during the race. They're very excited to see you do what you do.
Yeah, it's awesome to have that support, and it's such a pivotal. I mean, really, it is the pillar of everything. So
very cool. Sam, I know you got to go. Always a pleasure to chat. Have fun in Chattanooga. Say hi to Lionel, and just have another phenomenal race. Just do your own thing, and you'll be great.
Yep, I'll be sure to say hi to him when he comes in an hour behind me at the finish line.
Oh! Maybe they'll mistake him for your dad. That'll really piss him off.
Yeah, maybe. Anyways, thank you, Bob.
Are you Sam's dad? You're an hour behind him. What's going on? It's awesome. Sam the man has been our guest. Sam Long, Mr. Yo, Yo, Yo. Have a great time there in Chattanooga, buddy.
All right, we'll see you, Bob.
Take care. Again, Breakfast with Bob, Not Quite Kona edition. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We'll catch you next time. See ya.